Welcome back to the Crizzy White channel. I just want to say the support that I've gotten recently, especially on my last two videos, has been it's been great. I'm very appreciative that you guys are enjoying the content I'm pushing out. Um, it's not every day that I feel validated in choosing to do the things that I do, but the fact that I have an audience of fucking 3-4 fans, whatever, who just like listening to me talk about music, that means a lot to me. So sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Today I am reviewing I Will Never Be a Memory by Shinigami. So this album is my biggest inspiration for making music. Before I get into the actual review, I want to talk about what this album meant to me when I was younger. I found Shinigami, and I found this album when I was in 9th grade, and I was making music at the time, but I wasn't taking it seriously. I was memeing around. This album convinced me to take music seriously, make lyrics that I actually care about, write songs about how I feel. This song opened up a part of me. Not this song. I keep saying this song. This album opened up a part of me that I had never felt before. I'll get into it. I don't think it holds up as well as it did when I was younger. And that's for a lot of things. I mean, you know, nostalgia blind. But there is nothing I would give up in exchange for the memories that I have with this project. This project has given me so much to love and care about in my own direction musically, and in the emotions that I felt listening to it all those years back when I was in 9th grade, and now I'm fucking graduated and doing my own thing, working a job. So like, that's crazy to me. Shinigami was the first artist in like the underground that I really dove into. Like, I knew of X, I knew of Peep, whatever. You can argue that's underground. I don't think Peep and X are underground. I found them after they died, so I don't really think they were underground when I found them. Actually, I did find X before he died, but he was getting big because of sad and changes. But I found Peep after he died. But I did find X like a month before he died. The only other person I knew other than Shinigami was Gucci Highwaters, but I never really had that attachment to his discography like I do with Shinigami's. So I literally did not like autotune in general. Like, I didn't like autotune rap. I didn't really even like rap that much until I found this project. And I wouldn't even say that this is rap music, but it's that electric, auto-tuned, hip-hop, trap stuff. It's very nice, very ambient. I like that. I didn't like excessive auto-tune before I heard Shinigami use it, and now I love it so much. I love when artists use a bunch of fucking auto-tune. It's so nice. Anyways, I rambled way too long about how I used to feel about this project. Let's get into what I do like about the project. So first of all, I'm not going to review every single track. I'm only going to talk about the highlights and the blunders. So the absolute successes, the absolute failures, and I might hit something if it's a little mid, but it'll just be like a throwaway line. I will be discussing what I don't think has aged well and what I do think aged well. And at the end, I'll give a score out of 10, like all my other reviews. The opener, My Friends Are My Power. It has nice production, but I'm not a big fan on talking skits. I don't really like very long talking intros, skits. I'm just not the biggest fan of talking. When I listen to music, you know, I want to listen to music. I understand that there's a time and place for it. On a first listen, you know, it might have been cool, but revisiting the project, I don't think that the intro or the outro, spoiler alert, the outro is another like talking bit It's another talking skit. I don't think it adds too much to the album listening experience when I've heard this album so many times. I literally skip them every time I listen to it anyway. But you know, if it's your first time listening, fuck it. Listen to the intro, listen to the outro. You know, it might do something for you. The true opening track, A Place Where I Belong. This song has very heavy Owl City vibes. I feel like almost this entire project was inspired so heavily by Owl City. Just the amount of autotune, the production, the weird melancholic melody that comes with it. It's so spacey, yet you feel a form of depression while listening to it that I think is great, especially in the melody. The live 808, like the 808s are lively, okay? It's over the sad and melancholic little melody, and the 808s are just hitting, so they're lively, they're wild, they're all over the place. It's crazy. It creates such a numbing vibe that's like not present in today's music. I really don't think any artist has created the vibe that A Place Where I Belong creates to this day. I think one aspect of this album that has aged so well is the production, more than anything. The production of this entire album, straight through the whole thing. Shinigami and the producers that he worked with are so talented with production. It's actually insane. That dude knows how to make a beat. That dude knows how to use a beat. And this works as a great album opener. Like this song, it works so well. The cover art of this entire album is just beautiful, by the way. It's it matches the way that I think these songs feel. The cover art, I'm sure it's from a video game or something. I'll of course have it on screen. I'll have it in the thumbnail. This song matches exactly how I would feel if I lived inside that cover art. Something that I'm not too crazy on is the guest appearance from Super Chef M. I hope I'm saying that name correctly. I've never been a big fan of Super Chef M, especially this era. I do think that he has gotten better, especially in recency. But I am not a big fan of Super Chef M in this time frame, 2017. I really don't think he adds anything to the track in general, and I think that it would have been a better song and a better opener if it was solo. I don't particularly mind his appearance, I just don't care for it. The second song that's an actual like full song is I Don't Need Your Love. This song has potential to have the best melody of the entire album. The song is immensely relaxing, and it's also really easy to write to. Something I do in my pastime is I write short stories and I write books, and I Don't Need Your Love is like a perfect song to listen to when I'm trying to write something a little more personal, a little more thoughtful, story driven. It's a perfect song to write to. This song makes me want to play the Chow Garden in Sonic Adventure 2. Like, this whole album does, honestly. I get heavy Sonic Adventure 2 vibes from this entire project, which is, you know, I know that Shinigami is a huge fan of Shadow, so, you know, he probably fucks with Sonic Adventure 2. But as great as this song is melodically, as great as the production is, as great as the theming is, it does open up a huge can of worms when it comes to the rest of the album, which is the fact that 2017 Shinigami has overly edgy and very basic lyrical structure. These songs are low-key cringe when it comes to the lyricism. I would like to say this is a 2017 Shinigami problem. 2017 to 2018, maybe 2019. He is no longer cringe in his lyrics. And I can't respect that enough, the change. And it doesn't ruin the song by having these overly edgy, cringy lyrics, but like, it sounds so forced. It's so wannabe emo. And I'm warning you right now. This is a critique that I have on almost every single song on the album. So I'm letting you know that ahead of time, because you're going to hear me say the lyrics are overly edgy and cringy for no reason several times. The next song I'm going to talk about is rnrn. Let me make this clear. I like that title, okay? But I'm not going to say that the rest of the time I talk about the song. So I'm going to call it right now, because that's what rnrn stands for. rnrn, saying it like that just kind of sounds like urine to me. So I'm not going to call it that. It's called right now to me. But anyways, let me continue. This was my favorite Shinigami song for a very, very long time. I would say now my favorite song is probably Critical Error, which is on, I forget what the album's called, but I'll put it on the screen with the name and everything. I really like this song. I do think that it holds up the best. There's a reason why it is the biggest song on the project. It is extremely catchy. The melody is very basic, and it gets boring near the end of the song, but the 808s and the drums never let it become fully stale. His voice and the production on this is insane. It's so far beyond where Shinigami was at the point that he made this album. Right Now is a very standout song. I love this song. The distortion on Shinigami's voice at the end is very, very interesting. The mixing decisions, the engineering of this entire album is really interesting, but on this song specifically, the engineering is extremely cool. The original version is leaked, and I'm gonna say that right now. There is an original version that has a Ninetales verse, and I am not going to account for the Ninetales verse or the leaked version in the rating of this song. I'm not going to add or take away points. That obviously wasn't the vision that Shinigami had for the song. Either that or Ninetales didn't have that vision for the song, and they decided to take it off for the album. That being said, I wish Ninetales was on the release version of the song, because Ninetales went so fucking hard on it. And I don't condone leaks. I don't condone leaking music, okay? But if you want to look up the version with Ninetales, you'll probably like it more than the version without him. That being said, this song within its own, without Ninetales, is probably an 8.5, 9 out of 10 song. It is nearly perfect. And with Ninetales, it's not perfect. So I'm not going to count it into the rating of the album, because that's not what the album is. I just wanted to make that clear, because knowing that I am a Sewer person / Ninetales fan, and if I didn't mention the fact that Ninetales was supposed to be on the project, every Sewer person fan would be in my comments like, did you know that he was on it? Yes, I did, and I wish he was on it in the release. The next song I want to talk about is called Plus 69 XP. This is the first song that comes on that doesn't really fit the album. And honestly, the mixing and engineering of this song is trash compared to everything before and everything after. I'm not going to say that the song sucks, because it doesn't. It has its place. Its place is not I Will Never Be a Memory. It should have been a single or something. I do love the vibes of the song, but I can't defend the way it sounds. It does not sound polished. And I get that it's supposed to be a harsher, heavier hitting song, but it just doesn't work in this context, in my opinion. I really think that it should have been left off the project. And I know that I went on a rant on A Place Where I Belong about how I'm not appreciative of the Super Chef M verse, but Super Chef M is the highlight of Plus 69 XP. This might be the best performance Super Chef M had the entire year of 2018 when this released. Shinny's faster flow is okay, but it comes out of nowhere and it feels really forced. And honestly, this song just kind of sounds like a demo. It's not bad. It's just unfinished, and it doesn't fit the album. I really don't understand why it's on the album. Faith and Apparition works as a very decent interlude. There's not much to say about it. My real only gripe with it is that it tries too hard to be emotional. It's supposed to be powerful. It's supposed to be very sad and drive you. But when you look at the lyrics, there's not really much substance. I wouldn't say that the writing is overall cringe, but it sounds like it's trying to say more than it really is. Violence in the purest form. I'm going to break character for a second. I wrote this script a month ago, and I don't agree with some of the things that I have written here, so I'm gonna go off the top on this. I love this song. It is one of the highlights of the album for me. I had written in here that it's mid. I added this song to my playlist after listening again, and this song fucking bangs. It's very different from the rest of the album. It's very guitar based. It's a little more dark. It's not very cringe in terms of the lyrics, which is surprising. Most of his dark based, especially the guitar tracks, can be really edgy, especially in this era. No, this song is great. It's not my favorite. I don't know what my favorite song on this album is, but anyways, the song's great. And the only change I would make is if Brendan Savage or Lil Tracy had a feature on this, the song would be a 10 out of 10, because goddamn, that instrumental makes me crave a Brendan Savage verse. I'm not gonna lie. The next song, See You in My Dreams. This one features Gucci High Waters, who, as I mentioned, I knew Gucci High Waters before Shinigami. Never really got attached to his music, but I did really like a few of his tracks. I can't even remember the names of them. It's been so long. I think Rather Be a Ghost was a big one I was into, and so was Side Note. See You in My Dreams, major Chow Garden vibes. Bring me to the Chow Garden, please. This is one of the highlights of the album. So, when I was younger, I actually thought that Gucci High Waters carried the song, even though I was less big on Gucci than Shinny. But listening back, I prefer Shinigami's part. Like, it is really nice. I do really like Gucci High Waters' verse. I do think the song is better with it, but I do think that what Shinigami was doing on it was more interesting. The transition between their parts with their voices is so smooth, dude. It's like butter. These two only having one song together is like terrible, you know, because they work so well, man. They work so well. They need a collab tape, man. This is a top tier Shinigami song. This one carries the quality. Not as many edgy lyrics. Actually, if anything, I think that he actually is saying things in this song. If you look at the lyrics, there's way more substance than normal. This is a great song. Next up, I Will Never Be a Memory. The title track. I don't remember this song being a standout when I was younger, but fuck, it goes hard, bro. Fuck, man. This is one of the best age songs, even with the slightly edgy lyrics, just based on the production and the vocal mixing and the everything around it. It's so perfect. The song is amazing. Like I said, I can't pick a favorite with this album, but this is one of them, man. This album is great. It honestly feels like what Plus 69 XP was going for, but it succeeds so much more. The aggressive tone halfway into the first verse is actually crazy. It caught me so off guard. I think the only thing that would make this song better is a guest appearance from 93 Feet of Smoke, because damn, that would have went crazy. But regardless, this song is a highlight. Top 3 of the album, maybe top 2 of the album. This song is great. The title track is an absolute banger. It was one that I didn't care for growing up, and I think it's aged so well. The next song is Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack. I normally don't like long intros to songs, but I love the build of this one. God damn, does it tickle me. I love the slow rise. This song could be considered out of place, especially bouncing like right off the last song, but I honestly think it works really well. This was my second favorite song by Shinigami in high school. It was this one and it was Right Now, Right Now. But honestly, I don't think it holds up as much as before. Don't get me wrong, this is still one of my top songs on the project. I do really like this song, but I don't think it's best on the project. I don't even think it's close. It's there's not enough substance in it to really make it a favorite, but for a first time listening experience, or if you just want to go crazy, bro, this song's amazing. I honestly find his voice on this song, where he's doing the trap metal screams, more than I like his actual metal songs. I'm not a huge fan of Shinigami's metal songs, but this trap metal vibe that he goes for here, of like emo trap metal, it's weird, man. I don't even know what genre of song this is, bro. It's like EDM trap metal. Man, his voice fits this better than it does like actual raw metal. The production is incredible. It's incredible. Next we have Moonlight Garden. This is the last song that actually has vocals on it on the project. The last track is just a talking skit, like I mentioned earlier. I'm just gonna skip over that. So for the purpose of this video, because I'm reviewing this album the way that I see the album, and I don't really care for the talking, so this is the last album in the last song in the review. This is the last song, so I'm gonna pretend like it is, and I'm gonna view it as an outro because it works as an outro. Shinigami's mixing and voice doesn't fit the production. The mixing does not work. I think that the vocals are fine, like on their own, but the mixing is terrible. I'll be honest. I like what he's saying, and I like the vibes of this song. The mixing is so underwhelming, man. Like it really rubs my ears the wrong way. It just does not sound right. It honestly sounds a lot like a demo. The lyrics are not terrible, but I don't like the fact that Shinigami kind of sounds like he's whisper singing in the microphone. It takes away the impact that the lyrics he's singing really could have had. As an outro, it's fine, but at the same time, it's kind of underwhelming, especially when Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack gave so much energy, and it was an amazing song, and then this song is just, it's all right. I'm not gonna say I hate Moonlight Garden, but I do think that all of the hype, all the excitement that this entire album built up, the only song I skipped over, the only song that didn't have anything worth saying was Wayside, and that song's all right. Honestly, it's better than some of the songs that I did talk about. But Moonlight Garden doesn't carry the momentum. It doesn't hold to the rest of the project. Plus 69 XP and Moonlight Garden are the only two songs on this project that I outright just don't really care for. And it is a shame because the rest of this album is so good. But the fact that those two songs kill the vibe so much heavily degrades my appreciation of the album as an album. If this was a mixtape or branded as a mixtape, I think I could, skip over it. But this being an album, those two songs take away a lot. Anyways, I'm gonna get into my overall and final thoughts real quick. This album aged better than I expected. Way better. I expected to be cringing through the whole thing. There are cringe lyrics, but the engineering, the production, the vocals, man, it's all so good. I can tell it was heavily inspired by Owl City and his love for video games, but it was crafted into something incredibly unique and great, taking two of his biggest inspirations. If he's inspired by Owl City, I don't know, I could be talking out my ass. It feels like he took two things that you could be very derivative of and made it his own. This is what people think of when they hear the name Shinigami. This is what they think of, unless they think of Death Note. then they think of Ryuk. But if you're talking about the artist Shinigami, this is what somebody's going to hear in their head. This is what people know Shinigami for. I Will Never Be a Memory was a perfect album to create his name. This album not only holds up, but it created a vibe unique to Shinigami. I can't think of another album that sounds like this album. I can't even think of an imitation that comes close. Yes, there are a lot of mid tracks. There's a lot of tracks I like, but there's a lot of mid. You know what I mean? And there's questionable lyrics. Bad mixing. But there's not a single bad beat. And most of the vocal performances on their own are fine. The vocal performances only get ruined by the questionable lyrics and the mixing. So if you're looking at this just for the sound of it, if you want to turn your brain off, not focus on the lyrics, not focus on what he's trying to say, this album's great. Yeah, there's some bad mixing here and there, but fuck it, you're only gonna notice that if you make music or if you listen to as much as a musician would. Most people on the day-to-day will not notice bad mixing. So I didn't even notice the bad mixing on some of these songs when I was younger. There are a few songs that felt out of place. The fact that plus 69 XP transitions into Faith and an Apparition is incredibly jarring, dude. Like, how do you have the, I'll just say, the stupidest song? I don't think plus 69 XP is stupid, but obviously it's going for like a sillier, less serious vibe, and then going into the most serious, or pretending to be the most serious song on the entire album is so jarring, dude. I really don't understand the decision of the way that he organized the track list. If you take plus 69 XP out of this album, the whole thing flows so much better. There was more that I liked than I didn't like about this project. I do think this album is worth listening to in 2024, but you have to ignore some of the cringe instances of the post Lil Peep era of underground music. Rest in peace to Peep. That dude had so much talent, but he inspired so many people to make music who do not know how to write a song, and they think they can just talk about cutting themselves over and over and call that a piece of art. This is very I'm 14 years old and this is deep kind of music at points. But if you ignore that cringe lyricism, this album's worth listening to nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, this album's great. Overall, most of my complaints with this project are what Shinigami didn't do instead of what he actually did. Almost every decision he made on this album was right. The inclusion of plus 69 XP and the mixing on Moonlight Garden are the only two things that I don't think worked in favor of this project. Everything else, my complaints are the fact that he didn't have the Nine Tails verse, the fact that Brendan Savage would have been nice on that one song. You know, just stuff like that. All of my issues are things he didn't do, not things that he did. And to give a score to this project, I would say a 7 out of 10. It is leaning towards 8 out of 10 a little bit. I don't really want to give it a 7.5 if I'm being honest. I'll say 7, okay? But it's closer to like 7.3. But I'm gonna say 7. This album is 7, which is better than I thought I'd rate it. When I thought about re-listening to this, especially after hearing just a couple of the songs in passing and not as an album, I thought I'd rate it a 6. But no, it's a 7. Anyways, thanks for watching. What did you think of the album? And what would you rate it? Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.